Hey there. This is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me, as always, is Ernie Orange. And how's it going, Ernie?
Hey, Carlos, how's it going, man? Doing well, man. Just ready for another week of baseball. What an amazing weekend. I was out there in Mexico, man. It was great to see baseball being talked about over there and
Really?
watching highlights. And yeah, ESPN in Mexico is all about baseball. I also got to see highlights of the Mexican baseball league out there, and it was interesting to see the difference of game and the different type of stadiums we have out there. So it was pretty cool,
Nice.
man. How was your
That's
weekend,
really cool.
Carlos?
It was cool, dude. There's a lot of baseball going around. There's a lot of news, man. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. But you had the Dodgers and Astros series. You had
Yeah.
the London series. You had all these things going on at the same time, which was pretty interesting to me. Which it was fun. But you know what? Nonetheless, let's get into it, man. We are going to talk about Rob Manfred. Like he keeps bringing up that 2017 thing, and it's like, come on, dude. We're going to talk about the Bach, and I'm pretty sure by now everybody knows if it was a balk or not. We'll discuss that for sure. And then the other thing that we've been seeing from
Okay.
a team, the Reds, are they for real? I mean, we'll talk about that. The London series, there's been a lot of plays at the home plate that's been called out, and then they overturn it because of the little rule, and we'll go over that as well. And then the Angels scored 25 runs on Saturday, and we'll go over this. I mean, I'll ask you a question, and hopefully, people that are watching can say yes or no, and they'll agree. And then we'll go over the trades, the Angels as well, and then the did you know, and the did you know. We have a few of them for today, and hopefully, we'll get through all this in 1 hour. But let's get started with Rob Manfred. Man, this guy keeps hitting headlines, and of course, no one likes this guy, dude. Like what commissioners like. We already talked about this guy, but like this guy is always like, I don't know. Like I'll let you take it from here, dude, because it's kind of pisses me off. Ernie, you hear me? Ah, he got stuck. He got stuck.
Hey, man. I got stuck. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. You came back. So we're
Carlos,
talking about Ram Manfred, man. I want you to go a little bit
sorry. Can you ask that
into
again?
what
Yeah,
he's.
I
Yeah,
can hear
yeah.
you
Go
now.
for it. Go for it. Go for it.
I don't know, man. How do you feel about this, Carlos? I know a lot of fans are still upset, man. I feel like Rob Manfred should have done more to the game. He hurt baseball, with the comment of just the World Series, just a medal, was like a kind of slap to the baseball fans. And, it shows how much he really cares for the fans. He doesn't really care. He's all about a businessman. All he cares is about the money. And, looking back, these players should have been suspended, Carlos. He should have done more to
Yeah, I think we lost Ernie, so I'll go ahead and start talking about it. We do have Chewy on here. How's it going? Yeah, man, the recap. Let's go. Let's do it. We have Jamal. How's it going, Jamal? Yeah, Ellie De La Cruz, man. Friday he went for the cycle, and that was something so amazing. He's only been up in the majors 2 weeks, and he's already playing and providing all these things for the Reds, which is really amazing to me. And oh my God, dude, it's. We'll talk about him a little bit later and see if the Reds do need, are they hype or not? Are they really playoff contenders? Are they going to stay up there in first place? But all that stuff is really amazing what Elliot De La Cruz is doing, and for fantasy, like for people that got him, that's just amazing because he's getting a lot of points. So,
what a steal.
yeah, it's a steal, dude. So it is
He's
what
the
it
next
is. So,
superstar, Carlos. He's just made an impact straight to the Reds, and it's amazing to see how one player can just change the way a team plays, and it's amazing. He's putting seats in Cincinnati, the All American Great Ballpark. It's back with filled with fans just because of Ellie De La
that,
Cruz.
That's true. How's it going, Jasper? Everything good over here, man? Thanks for joining in. If you guys haven't hit the like button, hopefully you guys can hit it. And if you haven't subscribed, you guys can hit that subscribe button. But yeah, it's been one of those things where, you know what? Since we're already talking about the Reds, let's just get into the Reds, man, because it's one of those amazing things that the Reds are one of those teams that just got on fire. They got 12 in a row. They did
Right?
hit, a little bit of a losing streak with the Braves, which is it was expected. I thought because the Braves are one of the best teams out there right now, and I feel like
That's
the
true.
Reds, the Reds, this was a test. This was a test for them. They have that swag right now. They have that rookie fresh swag. They're playing good. They're feeling good. They even have Joey Bottle back. So it's one of those things where like they're feeling good. They're feeling good. They're playing good. But my question to you is: are the Reds for real? Are they going to keep it up? Are they going to keep playing baseball this way all throughout when the season finishes?
Oh, Carlos, definitely. With that offense they have there with just a bunch of rookies, you got Steer, Ellie De La Cruz, Matt McLean is also a player that just puts contact in the ball and gets bases, timely hitting for this team. Obviously, this team with Joey Bottle coming back, like Chu just mentioned, don't forget his leadership. It's just a great team all around, and it's gonna definitely get some wins in the column. Now, my only concern going in deep into the playoffs with the Reds would be their pitching. I know they're kind of a bit banged up. They do have Anthony Abbott that just came up and has shown great signs of being a great ace down the road, but they definitely going to need some veteran pitchers out there to make some noise in the playoffs. But overall, offensively, this is a scary team, Carlos, and they put in some great hits, great at bats, and bring in some timely hitting that is bringing the Reds up to winning. And it's impressive, Carlos. Like you mentioned, they lost to the Braves 2 out of the 3, but those 2 losses came down to 1 runs. So, it's not like those type of losses that, hey, we got blown out. They're competing with these high-level teams. And even with the Dodgers, they took them deep into the extra innings and had 2 walk-offs off them. So,
Yeah.
hey, man, everything looking great for the Reds. And if you're a Reds fan right now, it's the time to be watching baseball.
So this is what I kind of feel with the Reds. Like I feel like they're in the rebuild mode, and that rebuild mode was kind of like, okay, LA De La Cruz was going to come up, and then they have their starting rotation, they have their bullpen, but what could help the Reds get to that next level, right? You're talking about Chapman. Chapman has been on the news coming out saying that I would like to go back to play with the Reds because that's where I started. That's where he started,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So that will be great. But are the Reds willing to get rid of those players? And that's another conversation that I feel the Reds are not ready for that. The Reds have been waiting this long to get to this point. And because the Central is not as strong as the other divisions, you
Mm-hmm.
could win the division just by playing the way they're playing, getting a little hot streak going. The Cardinals are not
Exactly.
getting better. They're not. The
They're
Cubs are
not.
like, and the Pirates, it's just like, what happened to them? Like, dude, it's kind of like it's the Brewers. I don't know, man, and the Reds to me right now they're riding that. They're riding it. But for me, I feel like they do need one starter, and that closer. But like I said, they're not going to be willing to trade for any of those players. I think they waited too long, or waited too for all this to happen, and it's happening just this year. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Do you agree? I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm wrong that maybe they'll probably
No, I
get get someone.
totally agree with you, though, Carlos. You make perfect sense there. They have a lot of prospects also in their minor league system. 2 of the players just got called for the future games for the following week for the All-Star
Yeah,
weekend. So they
yeah,
they have definitely talent there. So like you mentioned, they are a half game above the Brewers right now. And even if they make a wild card round, dude, this would be such impressive for the city of Cincinnati that baseball will
yeah,
be playing at such a high level come October. So definitely can make some small moves with some veteran pitching and some cheap pitching they could find out there. Maybe like a
yeah,
Lance Lynn out there, somebody that could just get some more innings, out of the way for the team. So I
yeah.
definitely agree with you there, but they should definitely make some moves. It wouldn't hurt.
And Tony did just say White Sox doing another rebuild.
That's
It might be in the works, and that's where maybe the Reds will be trading off someone. But like I said, the Reds are not willing to trade off any of those minor league players because they waited so long to get to this point. And who knows, like if there's something out there for the right price, I think they're going to pull the trigger, and that's what's going to make the difference for the Reds. But for now, they're going to go into that All-Star break, and everybody needs that All-Star break so they can get back into it. And that's one of the things that we're looking forward to. But for sure, the Reds, I feel like they're not for real. Everybody's gonna hate me for that, but I just feel like they need to make those trades. Once they make those trades, we will talk, and if they don't make any trades, then we'll be like, yeah, we'll talk about it as well. But we'll be like, yeah, they should have made that trade. But we'll see. Baseball is one of those unpredictable games that you can't, get better just by having a star player on that team. You need several star players to come up, or just have one of those players that just play a little bit better than what that person has played before. But that's what it is. So, thanks for that. We wanted to start with Rob Manfred, but Jamal, you asked about De La Cruz, LA De La Cruz, and to be honest, it's an exciting time to watch him play because he is an amazing player. He's a 5-tool player, and maybe 6, 7. We don't know. We'll see where the future takes this young man and how good of a player he's going to become. Maybe even the face of baseball at one point. But there's a lot of time for this little kid to grow. And like that's one of the things that I feel like is this sport getting younger, because I feel like when people see the game now, they're seeing young players and they're not seeing the older players, because the time has a lot that has affected a lot of these players lately. And I feel like because Ellie De La Cruz is just coming up, he's eager to play and he's just making the game a little bit faster. It's what a young person does. They don't slow the game down. You can't slow the game down anymore, because before time, you had the timer. You would slow the game down. The older people will tell the younger kids or the younger players, say, slow the game down, and then you'll be a better. But now, because of time, you can't do that. You just need to slow your mind down, maybe, or I don't know, whatever it is. Um, Ernie, what's up, man? You keep going out, in and out. You're good. Okay. Yeah, man. Tony, 6'7" tool player, man. Yeah, dude, why not? There's other things he can do. He could throw his left hand. He could start pitching. He could come out of the bullpen. You never know. Like you have Shohei Ohtani doing that. So let's move on, man. Let's go ahead and do the Rob Manfred. Rob Manfred did come out saying that he's kind of feels regrets giving the Astros immunity. And dude, I'm kind of tired of hearing this since 2019, 2020. Remember in 2019 when they were in the World Series against, it was the Astros and the Nationals, and there was already speculations that the Astros were cheating and that they were checking on them. They were checking that there was cameras out there, making sure that there wasn't anything that was interfering with the game of baseball in 2019. And remember, the Nationals did win the World Series. And if you guys don't remember that World Series, the Nationals won all their away games, just like the Astros won all their away games. So it wasn't a thing where they won their home games, and it was kind of one of those rare occasions that happened. But Rob Manfred did come out saying that he feels and he regrets that was one of his biggest mistakes, and then calling the trophy a piece of metal, which a lot of players took offense to it, because it's the prize you get at the end of the season when you perform. So for him, it was one of those things that maybe like he wants to take back. And if he ever has a chance to build a time machine, then he'll probably go back to that and say, you know what, I want to erase this from my memory. I want to erase everything from everybody's memory, and I'll just do everything that's supposed to be right. I think what happened is that he couldn't, or he probably didn't want to put the resources in to get people to investigate on the Astros, and that's the big mistake. Like, Ernie, are you back? No, not yet, not yet. Okay, so we'll keep going. We'll keep going. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys think that we should start putting this to rest, I think we should. Stop bringing up 2017. I'm tired of it. It didn't happen for us anymore. Like, why even bring it up? I mean, you keep saying that he regrets all these things, and it's kind of like, I'm tired of it. Yeah, forget about it. So it is what it is. Ernie, if you can hear me, man, just come in, butt in whenever you get a chance. Let's go on to the next segment. We do have big news on Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is going to be out, and we don't know how long this man's going to be out for. I don't know if you guys remember the play that he did at Dodger Stadium. He hit his toe. It sounds like he's going to be out more time. I guess it's a ligament, so he might have surgery. We still don't know that. Evan Boone kind of looked like he was uh, the interview when he came out and said that Aaron Judge is going to be out. He didn't sound so positive. He sounded a little bit more worried about the Yankees, because remember, the Yankees don't play good baseball when Aaron Judge is not in the lineup, and that's a huge thing for the Yankees. Now, is Stanton going to step up? He's one of the big key factors of that team, but he's been injured himself as well. So is this one of the things where I feel like, are they going to rush this man to come back? I don't know. It's let me see. Ernie has Spectrum. I don't know, man. I don't know if he does or doesn't. Yeah, Yes, we know they cheated. They deserve a trophy, but let's move on. It's time to move on. I agree. Torn ligament, yes, is the torn ligament on the big toe, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's a huge injury for a big man. This guy is a huge dude, you know. So it's like I don't know what we can expect for Aaron Judge in the future, like or in this season. But I know that if the Yankees start losing and they're not nowhere near first place or a wild card spot, I feel like they need to go ahead and shut them down and just have surgery, get ready for next season, and maybe possibly even get into the playoffs when they start in the playoffs this year. So if they're close, right? But we will see. Only time will tell. If you do have him as a fantasy player, I have him in my fantasy roster. Don't drop him. We don't know what's going on yet. We don't know if he's going to be out the whole 2023 season. Keep him there. If you have a spot, why not just leave him on your IL spot? So yeah, going to Georgia on the 10th for 2 weeks. Got to catch up games. Check up on man, that's dope. But hopefully you get to go see the Braves out there, man. I know Greg Maddux and the rest of the crew's not there, but I mean the Braves are exciting to watch right now. Let's see. Yankees rumored to be looking at Bellinger. No, not just the Yankees. The Astros are looking to get an outfielder, a left-handed bat, and a closer. So the both persons that are linked to that are Bellinger and Chapman. But those two players are not linked to liking that team. So remember, the 2017 Bellinger was on that team and he hates the Astros. And then you have the Chapman in 2020, the revenge, I guess, or 2017, they hit a home run off of him, and then 2020, same thing happened. So it's it's one of those things where both of those players don't want to go to Houston, but it is a business, and wherever they tell them to go, they have to go. You remember back in the day, Jackie Robinson, he got traded to the San Francisco Giants, and that's how big and how much passion they have for their team. This man retired. He was like, I'm not going to go play for the San Francisco Giants. Hell no, I'm a Dodger. So Jackie Robinson retired because of that. But now we don't think we have that. But imagine if that happens, if Bellinger gets traded to the Astros, he's like, I'm just going to retire. Or, you have Chapman too, like, oh, I'm just going to retire because I don't want to play for the Astros. But we'll see what happens. What's up, Hobby? How's it going, man? Everything good over here in California? We're just talking about your boy Aaron Judge, the big dude. But yeah, that's what it is with Aaron Judge. Tony, I know you think that you're an Astros fan. Do you think that they're gonna get Bellinger and Chapman? Keep it in the chat right here. Let us know. Let me see if Ernie Orange is back. I think he is. Or can you hear me, Ernie?
Hey, Carlos, can you hear me? Sorry about that, guys. I'm
Hey,
switching
there
cable, Spectrum, Fox Spectrum. I'm
you're
over
good,
this
dude.
shit,
Don't
guys.
trip.
Oh man, you guys don't understand the pain. It's just this Wi-Fi can't get it together. It works when it wants, man. It
They were
it's
telling me
it
that you
feels
had
like
Spectrum.
yeah, man. She's right, man. Every time the show wants to start, it's like it starts acting up the whole time. Like right before we go on, it's just like I don't know, man. We're moving on. It's time to move on, guys. Sorry about
Yeah,
that, but I saw you were talking about Judge, man, and
yeah. I was
that's a
talking about Judge. Yeah,
tough
go
thing for
ahead.
the
Go ahead.
Yankees going on right now, man. It was rumored that he was going to come back, but now with this torn ligament, I feel like the Yankees were kind of lying to us fans and not really telling us what really was going on. And it's kind of frustrating for the fans out there knowing that they might not even have Aaron Judge all season. So that's kind of concerning, right?
Yeah,
And if he
yeah.
doesn't come back, do you think he just needs to get surgery at this point if the team continues to struggle? They are currently in the wild card round, but hey, man, it's too early to tell. But hopefully the man could come back to play. We love when he's playing out there in baseball, man. We love seeing
Yeah,
his long home runs, and they're fun to watch. So
yeah,
best of luck for Judge, and hope we see him soon.
yeah. You know what's crazy to me is that I feel like when you don't have all the baseball players out there, and it reminds me of the finals. I guess it was the Raptors against what was it? Was it Raptors against Golden State? I believe,
Right.
right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think what's his name? He got injured. Oh, I can't see. I'm not a basketball guy.
Clay Thompson.
It wasn't
I think
no, it wasn't Clay
Steph
Thompson. It
Curry and
was
Clay Thompson both went down, I think.
Was it? Okay, so yeah, and you want your best out there because you want to win the championship, saying, "Hey, I did it against the best. I didn't do it with injuries player." Because you have those fans like, "Well, our team was basically injured all the way. Like we
Right.
made it to the finals." But see, that's the thing. When with baseball, is the same thing. Like certain players make teams better because of their leadership and stuff like that. We just talked about how the Reds, the leadership of Joey Votto. Like it's the same thing with Judge. Judge is a team captain, and he's been known to be the team captain when they signed him last year. So for the Yankees not to have their captain out there, and for fans not to see the captain out there, it kind of does worry and kind of does bring that thing where it's like, oh man, that sucks for them. So yeah, it is what it is. Once we get more information, we'll post it on here, or we'll talk about it like always. We love talking baseball. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put it on there. We had a little bit of technical difficulty because Ernie had a little bit of with the internet, but we got it fixed right now. He's over there in a bougie town. That looks that,
We
that's
moved
that's
to a new
nice back there.
we moved to a new part of the house, man, just to get the better connection. We had to move closer to the modem.
Exactly. You got to do it. You got to do what you got to do, man, to be on the show. All right, let's go to the next one, man,
Right.
and let's go to the London series, dude. And this is one of the things where we talked about last few shows ago, where they had the Mexico series, where they had the Giants and the Padres, right? And we were saying that, oh, that's pretty cool that they're doing that. They're going to other places, but remember that we did say going to London or going somewhere to another continent. That's a little difficult because now you the Cubs and the Cardinals did not play on Friday, right? They have
Right.
that long flight, they get jet lagged, they play Saturday, and then they play Sunday morning, and then they fly back. They don't play Monday, which they're not playing today, and they're playing tomorrow. So it's like, dude, jet lag is for real. Like I feel like these guys are gonna be struggling. They're gonna feel it, and I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like, dang, it's kind of one of those things that's like I don't I don't agree with them going to another continent. Maybe if they start the season out there, like they have before where they
Okay.
started in Japan, maybe that's better. And then you have the Puerto Rico, the Mexico, or well, they already have Canada, right? But you have the maybe the Dominicana, involved into all this. You can probably do that during the season, or maybe closer to All Star break. That way, you can have chance to fly out there and get back to the All-Star game, and you'll be rested. But I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
No, definitely, Carlos. You're totally right. They should at least get one more day off, if I'm not mistaken. I think that
Yeah,
one extra day would help them with the time change. It's a huge time change, Carlos. You're talking about eight
yeah,
hours.
yeah,
That Friday the team did, like, for example, the Cubs actually came from Pittsburgh, so they were already on the road.
yeah.
They were already in a different time zone. Now you make them travel an 8 hour flight and be 8 hours ahead of time. It's just difficult, and I think you kind of saw it within the players this week. You saw Adam Wainwright struggle on Saturday morning. He had a hard time getting his pitches together, his pitching location. He had one of his worst outings of the season. And then Sunday, after Marcus Stroman was having a great season so far, he decided to have a blooper and fortunately, he had a blister that was a cause of his pitching. But it was a hard hit for the teams. And not only that, the Cardinals also got hit with the stomach flu, and I think some of the players they were just all sick. Like 3 or 4 players are out. So can you
Dang.
imagine traveling under those conditions? It's kind of tough on the players, man. I know they really enjoy the team bonding, being out in London and having a good time, with a sold out crowd, but it is a tough time in the middle of the season. I would also, like you said, either the start of the season or towards the All-Star break, so they got some time to recover. What do you think?
Exactly. Yeah, I agree, dude. I agree, and that's the thing that we need to, maybe we should put in a vote or something for MLB.
Yeah,
But well, man, we're just a bunch of fans that want, and you got to think about the players too. It's not just about the fans. A lot of people think it's about the fans, and yes, it's a little bit about the fans. But when you think about these players, they fly every 3 games. They're sleeping in motels, hotels. They're sleeping, catching up on the plane ride. And if you have your home stand, you have 6 games to be here, and or depending on how long it is, and then you have your 12 game road trip, and it's like, oh man, it sucks for them, but it's all part of the business. It's all part of the game. I understand, but it just happens that way. It just happens
yeah.
that way. Yeah, let's keep
Definitely.
moving on, man. Unless you want to say
Yes,
something
sir.
about the series. I mean, it was 1-1. The Cubs won
Kind
on
of a.
Saturday, and then the Cardinals won on Sunday. And it
I
sucks
guess
for
all
me
it really.
for Strowman.
Yeah, it really did, right? Stroman was off to a great start, looking like a Cy Young possibility for the NL. But hopefully, this blister injury is not nothing major, and he should be back with hopefully the next start. But it's
Yeah,
great to see baseball in other parts of the world, Carlos. At the end of the day, the
yeah,
game is definitely growing. Great Britain had a World Baseball Classic team just back in March, so it was great to see that actually fans are supporting baseball out there in Europe. You don't
yeah.
really hear about a lot of Euro fans or European baseball, but it's great to see that the game is definitely going and going in the right direction.
Yeah, true. All right, we already talked about Manfred. We talked about the Reds, and we talked about the London series. And we were supposed to talk about the Bach or not. And if you haven't seen it, we'll play the clip for you, and we'll talk over the video. But when we saw this, and I didn't see it real time, but I saw the video, I noticed it right away. And a lot of people were like, "No, what Bach? What are they talking about? He was just going to step off." So I slowed down the video so you guys can see that he did flinch before he stepped off, and that's one of the things that umpires out there, they're bigger nerds than what baseball fans think they are. They're officiating this game. They need
Yeah.
to know the rules better than the average fan. So I mean, it's a balk. You can see the balk, and I'll play the video again. Like Ernie, do you see the balk? Right?
You clearly see the twitch there, and it's definitely a balk. Everybody saw it. Miguel Rojas saw it. I know the Astros catcher saw it. I know the home plate umpire saw it, and the second base umpire saw it. So everybody saw it, Carlos. I know Ryan Stanek wasn't too happy about it and showed his emotions after the strikeout, but hey, man, this is baseball, and you have to follow the rules. Unfortunately, it sucks that it was a winning run, and
Yeah,
that's the run that gave the win to the Dodgers. But hey, man, you need to know the rules. I know he was trying to give a timeout, possibly,
yeah.
or get some time, but he messed up there, and it's just clearly what it was. And it's a balk, and need to move forward. And it's interesting how he went crazy berserk against the MLB umpires, but that was pretty funny.
Well, not just the umpires, the fans too. When he was walking to the dugout, he's like telling them to shut up, and then he started saying some profanity.
So that was pretty
But
funny.
look, dude, what a lot of people don't understand, and I've been seeing on the chats, and that a lot of Astro fans are really mad because of this. And when people try to explain to them, and they're just being butts about it, if you're doing a motion when you're gonna go to set as a pitcher, you need to completely finish that motion. So that motion that he did before, and I'll play that video here again because look, he's looking at the sign, and he looks like he's going to step off, but then he thinks about it twice, and he
Mhm.
just flinches, and he kind of looks like he froze right there, and then he steps off. So he knew he messed up. Like, and here it goes right here. This is a little flinch right there. That little
You got it on
flinch.
slow
Stop.
mo.
Yeah, exactly. So he needs to like completely continue and step off. He can't just do a little flinch, stop, and then step off. So the balk is one of those rules that a lot of people don't understand what's going on. And for me to explain it, I need a lot more vocabulary than what I already have. Like I don't have that much vocabulary, so I wouldn't even try and attempt to do it because. So, but anyway, like the balk is one of those rules that it's really difficult to explain. Not unless you're a big time baseball fan or a fan that watches the game, you'll understand what's happening. But it was a balk. Unfortunately, this man got mad. Dusty Baker didn't know what's going on, and it's one of those things where you have to pay attention what's going on during the game if you're an umpire, and you have to give kudos to these umpires. They're not just there to make bad calls; they're there to make the right call. Sometime if it's pulling for your team, and for our team, which was Dodgers, fortunately, it worked out. But imagine if it was for the Dodgers, I would probably even do this video as well because it's only fair and it's right to do what is right, right? The other thing that I wanted to tell you that the umpires, the little box that's on there on the screen, those umpires are not seeing that. We're
Mhm.
seeing that as fans on TV. So when you see a strike outside that box, do you get mad?
I don't. I understand there's human error and they can't get everything accurate, but this is where are we deciding we're going to have the robo umpires coming on soon,
Yeah,
where it's going to make the call for the umpire. This
yeah,
is where I don't know. There's some bad ones, and it's all the fault of the catchers, though, Carlos, because they stay framing the pitches and trying to, fool the umpire. So There's
Yeah.
not much we could do there, but I don't get upset as much anymore. I think when I was a kid, it was still like I still didn't mature in the game as much as a fan. And I would get pissed about all these calls, man. It was like a tough time growing up seeing these bad calls. But now there's still some bad ones out there. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. And
Yeah. Yeah.
but you learn to move on and you adjust for your next at bat and you see what the umpire's calling and you get ready for the next one. We
But
got
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, we got Jasper saying anyone following the College World Series. I think LSU's about to win, right? Jasper, if I'm not mistaken, they were up 10-3 right now before we head into the show. So I think LSU's about to be the champs again. But we'll see. I'm not sure if that's already happened. If you could keep us updated at Jasper. But go ahead, Carlos. Sorry for cutting you off,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. No worries. Dude, it's just the thing with that box. I feel like you have umpires that only miss 3 calls in the entire game, or you missed 2 calls. There was an umpire this year, and I can't remember his name because umpires aren't really that famous, but he missed 1 call, and that was like on the dot, like pretty much on that little square, and he called it a ball. But like, it's just like what these guys are amazing at what they're doing.
Dude,
They're
they're
like
professional.
more, yeah, yeah, and to get to that level, it's amazing to me because I was just thinking like we're big baseball fans, right? We look at the game, we dissect it, we look at little box here and there, and you're like, hey, that was a balk. But real time, if you would have saw that play real time, would you have called that a balk? Would you have called that a strike? Would you have called that a ball? Like these
I probably
things
would have
that,
missed it. I'm not
yeah,
gonna lie.
exactly. Like I didn't know what was going on, and I'm like, what is going on? And then I saw the replay when they slowed it down. That's when I understood. I'm like, I saw that buck. He did twitch. But
Yeah,
imagine doing that real time. You're
that's
watching the
hard.
pitcher. Yeah, exactly. That's really hard. So for you guys to get on these umpires day and day night and all these other calls that they miss, yeah, we're fans. We're fans, and that's what we can go ahead and say that. But like that's amazing. That's amazing. That's an amazing job. They're pretty much doing their job and they're getting paid for it, and they did it. They got it right. They got it right. So I mean, more kudos to the umpires, man, for doing that. That's
Right.
pretty cool.
Well, there's
Yeah.
an MLB. There's a Twitter page, just like all they post is about every bad call, like bad strike, the umpire call. They like capture every game, every single moment. I need to find the page, but they definitely capture every MLB game with every bad strike call, and it's so interesting to see that. Like they
Yeah.
dissected by like the angle, the speed, what location. It's crazy, Carlos. I need to share that to you next time. So you
Yeah,
can
let's
see.
share it so we can do the did you know on that segment, man, because it's amazing what these umpires do. And all we do is cry and moan about these freaking umpires making bad calls, but they're not really bad calls. If you're seeing it real time, you're gonna miss a call. And most of the time these umpires get it right. So
Mhm.
that's amazing to me. All right, man. Let's go ahead and move on, man. On Saturday, there was a big, 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 big lead. It wasn't even past the 4th inning, and the Angels were already beating the crap out of the Colorado Rockies. If you guys didn't know, this happened on Saturday. They won 25-1. At one point, it was just 24-0, and
Yeah.
it got to 25-0, and a home run happened. But man, this is where I feel that this question needs to happen. A mercy rule. Does this need to be applied
Hmm.
to major leagues? And I'm gonna let you take it from here, Ernie, because I know you're a big Angel fan. I know you wear the big A. You're wearing the Angel hats right now, so I need you to talk about this. This is your time to shine right here.
Hey man, well, it was a great day for the Angels, which the past couple of days, man, the offense has just been awful. And with the one day we get 25 runs, 28 hits. The mercy rule sounds interesting and it brings you like season's kind of long, right? We have 162 games, and you ask yourself, why not just give these players an extra day off? But baseball, you know how baseball is. We need to track every stat, every type of hit. So I don't see mercy rule ever coming to the game of baseball. Not only that, just in the business perspective, Carlos, fans come from far locations. They pay their money, their ticket to see a baseball game. So to cut it short for them, that would be kind of suck for the fans. It was kind of a sad game, 24-0, 23-0 after the 4th inning. What a crazy day for the Angels. I don't know what the hell happened. They were just being aggressive, finding everything was just being contagious, man. Everybody that got a hit, the next guy would too. But
Yeah.
the funniest thing about this, Carlos, was that Shohei went 1 for 7 that day. Had a
Wow.
terrible game, but So funny. Not only that, we stole Mike Moustakas from the Rockies after the game. You're like, hey, you don't want to be part of this losing team? Come join the Angels. So that's
Yeah.
funny.
So
But
they did make some trades, and yeah, there you go. You have Mike Moustakas and Eduardo Escobar, and are they going to be great additions to the Angels?
I think so, Carlos. They're two veteran at bats. Eduardo Escobar's a switch hitter. He hasn't really gotten a lot of playing time down in New York because of Brett Beatty coming up as a rookie out there. But with his bat and Mike Moustakas, an LA native that also wanted to come play in here in LA for a long time, it's a great thing for the Angels. And they're showing that they're getting depth for Mike Trout and Shohei. And
Yeah,
with this roster here, they're showing they're going to be buyers. They're not selling Shohei whatsoever. I don't know where all these analysts are thinking they're going to sell him and that they should be selling them. The team has a potential to win now, and GM Perry Manasian knows that they could win, so they're going all in. Then hopefully this could be the year we make a deep run, and make sure to keep Shohei in the team, man, because more than likely he's going to the Dodgers. And as an Angel fan, I know that too. But it would be a great way to convince him to stay and show him that hey, we could win out here too,
yeah,
and we could also have the money to pay you.
yeah.
So that's
You know, in the interview with Mookie Betts, I guess Mookie Betts has his own show with Bleacher Report, and he interviews these players. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you go check it out. Like Mookie Betts is pretty smooth on how he talks to them, and they talk like
like
they're just talking like us right here, right?
right,
And
like the
it's really
boys.
amazing how he's talking to Trout and whatever. So he asked them like, are you going to do everything possible to try to keep Otani in the Angels? And he's like, most definitely, dude. I'm gonna try everything. I'm gonna use everything I can to try to keep him here in Anaheim. And that's what's great. I feel like because Otani is in Orange County, he is in with the Angels. I think he should stay there. But time, I mean, I am a Dodger fan. Like I wouldn't mind having him as a freaking Dodger. We had this guy here, and I'm gonna go ahead and post him right now. We had this guy here coaching first base. I know it was only half a season, but he was the main attraction out there in Brooklyn. He's wearing that Dodger jersey, and like why not have the other man and Otani come to the Dodgers and be that person? We have Babe Ruth, even because he was a coach. I know he was just a coach, but like Otani, if he comes to LA, that'll be really really cool. But as an
That would be
Angel right
awesome,
now,
man.
yeah, as
And,
an Angel right now, I think they need to do everything they can to try to keep him. And this is a question I wanted to ask you. I know they made those trades and they're going to make it a little bit better for Trout and Otani, but do you feel like the pitching it's set, or do you think that they need to go ahead and get someone else for that
No,
team?
the Angels definitely need help in pitching, like big time. They need definitely another starter and some relievers out there, Carlos. Most of these
Yeah,
games have come down to blowouts, and it's kind of hurting the Angels. This week we obviously had a 32 to 12, 20 run differential against the Rockies, but we still managed to lose the series 2 out of 3. It's one of the weirdest stats that could have ever possibly happen, but it always happens to the Angels for some reason. And we definitely need help with pitching, man. Somehow we can't find to close these games with the bullpen to set up, man. 7th, 8th inning, we find a way to blow these games, and it's hurting the Angels so far. I think they could definitely make a run in the AL West and be in first place right now because of that. That's definitely hurting them. So I'm
yeah,
not. Trust me, GM Perry Manasian, he's gonna do everything in his power to get it, man. He's gonna get those pitchers he needs, and there's a
yeah.
lot of them out there that a lot of teams are gonna be selling. So I definitely know we have a good farm system coming up. Some guys out there, and they're gonna have to trade some of those guys for some pitching, starting pitching for sure.
Yeah. And it's not just them, it's the Rangers and the Astros, because I just said when you were off because the camera wasn't working, um, Bellinger and Chapman are out there for trades, and the Astros are looking to try to get them. They're in the AL West. You're looking at Texas. They're looking at McCutcheon, but they're looking at McCutcheon and a pitcher. So the Pirates are still in contention, right? They're still it's not super far to where they kind of achieve that championship or baseball for the Pirates. But if they do decide to go ahead and trade McCutcheon, he goes to the Rangers, and that could be that outfielder with power that they need out there with the Rangers. Remember we talked about it 2 weeks or a week ago that the Rangers do need that outfielder power hitter. That could
Mm-hmm.
be it. They get another pitcher because they don't have DeGrom. DeGrom is down the full year because he's going to Tommy John. And then the Angels going to make that push to try to get that one pitcher that they need? And that one pitcher, who would you want? And then that's one of the questions. Like I always want to ask a fan of another team, that one pitcher that would dominate and that would be a good presence in that Angels starting rotation.
Oh man, Jasper, you don't want to loan us one of your pitchers? Man, I would take any Dylan Z's or Lucas Jolito, man. Any of those guys, they could come on over to LA, man. Get that fresh sun and ball out here with Jose. Those would be the two guys I would be looking if I was Angels. There's definitely great pitching out there in Chicago, and I ask myself every time I see those starting a rotation, how are they not winning? Here and there they get some W's, and you think like, oh, they may turn it around, but it's a team that may be selling, and why not try to go for those pitchers? And maybe the Angels have some young outfielders out there that we could trade for
Yeah,
them. Some young
you
talent.
said you said that they have a lot of outfielders out there, right?
Right now, there's a competition, man. We have Hunter Renfroe, which he's a great hitter, and we
Yeah,
have Taylor Ward, Mickey Moniak, that's come to shock a lot of people, which was a former number one pick, and then
yeah.
Joe Adele, which is killing it in AAA. Man, he leads the league in home runs right now, and I don't see why anybody would not want this guy. A top prospect. He's 23 years old, and he's looking like he could be the next stud. So why not go for him and trade that guy?
Exactly. That would make a lot of sense. All right, well, let's move on to the next one. And we should have talked about this when we're talking about the umpires, the safe and out play out in home plate, where it the Giants was, I guess it was the Giants and
The
dang,
Padres.
yeah, the Padres, and then the Padres was it the White Sox and the Rangers, right? Where they
That's
called it
correct.
safe. Yeah, so both of them they called them out, and when they reviewed the play, they saw that the catcher was blocking. I don't think he was blocking, and I don't have the video. I wish I had the video. It's just when we try to put videos on here, sometimes it gives us that little copyright. It kind of sucks. But the more visual we have, the better to explain it. It's just I feel like this rule is one of those rules that they still needs work, because if you need to give a clear lane for the runner coming from third to home, it kind of sucks because you have to kind of define what that is. What is it that you need to give them? You need to give them a lane and they can't change direction, because both of those plays, the player had to change direction, right? And that's where I think they called them safe after that, because they saw that the catcher blocked the plate. But as a human, when you tend to get the ball before the runner's there, you tend to go to the runner and you tend to block the plate, because that's how it's been done for ever, like it has never been
Generations.
one of those. Yeah, exactly. So you, as a little league, you learn to block the plate with your leg, and you put your leg in front of the plate, and even now I think they're still showing them that. So it's one of those rules that they need to clear up. I think they need to clear it up, because it's not clear. It's not
Dude,
clear.
it's one of those calls. I'm not a big fan of Carlos.
No.
Bruce Bochy and Bob Melvin are from the old school baseball days, man. They
Yeah.
were there when people were getting rocked back at home plate. And I know this is to protect the catchers. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see what the catcher could possibly do to change the outcome. Like the ball comes close to home, and he's there to tag him out. Like what else is the guy supposed to do? Jonah Heim got caught with this rule. Gary Sanchez, and they were very upset with the call.
Yeah.
The base runners were clearly out, Carlos, and I don't see what else they could have possibly done to like make a different like route direction. I don't see what else they could have done to be called out.
So the ball was there before they got there. Like, and,
Exactly.
and it wasn't like a bang bang play where they got the ball and then he turned and then he tagged them. No, it was one of those things that they got the ball, he waited, and then they tagged the runner.
Elvis
So
Andrews was a clear example of that one, and he was like clearly out. He still slid, right? And it was like,
yeah,
for what? Like you're already out. And
yeah,
then we have the other guy, Steve Sobol. I think that's his name. Yeah, Steve Sobol from the Giants, and he was also clearly out. The guy wasn't even running in the lane, Carlos. This guy was running like all in the grass area. Like, dude, this guy's not even close to the lane. Like he's out
yeah.
of bounds type of thing. So why would he be considered going inside the lane? And Gary Sanchez was definitely not blocking. And Bruce Bochy and Bob Melvin went at it with the umpires, and they got kicked out. So
Which they
I don't
had
know,
to.
man.
They had
Don't
to.
like the
They had
call.
to. But they had to, because like, and this is the thing with Bruce Bochy, because Bruce Bochy coached Buster Posey when this came in effect. Because remember that terrible
That's
collision
true.
out in
Wow.
home plate. It kind of like probably it ended his career, because he came back and he wasn't the same catcher as he was before. But if you're getting into that position, and I've said this a lot in this show, if you're going into being a catcher and you know that they're gonna pop you back there, hey, dude, you know what you're doing. If you want that position, go for it. It's just like when the second base, when the Chase Utley took out the guy from the Mets, and they changed that rule too. That was the best plays in baseball that we could have seen, that there was like human contact or it was a lot of contact. We don't have those plays anymore. And then they need to clear up this rule. I honestly feel like they need to clear it up, but time will tell. Hopefully they do fix it to the better. It doesn't go worse where the ball gets there and then like 3 minutes, or not 3 minutes, but 3 seconds later he slides in, and because the guy tagged him out, oh no, you tagged him too hard, he's gonna be safe. Like, nah, dude, like get out of here. The games can't get more like that. It needs to stay the same. Just need to like modify it a little bit. I understand they need to have a little bit more safety for the players because
Definitely.
they do have 162 games, and I get that, but it's like, come on, man, you can't be doing that too much. It has to be something where the catcher has to right away as well, not just the runner. But only time will tell. If you don't agree with us, I mean, go ahead and post it on here. We like
it's
your
just
comments.
it's just interesting, Carlos, how these both plays got called out. So even the original home plate umpires saw what we saw, and it wasn't until they went to the replay booth and they finally got to see what's going on. Let's see what Jasper hears. I hear you, Ernie. Sucks in Chi-Town right now. Hey,
Yeah.
Jasper, I know the Angels are playing the Angels right now. Let us know what the score is if you got a chance.
They are. Oh, they are. They're in Chi-Town right now, right?
No. The White Sox are here in town in LA right now.
Oh, they're here in LA. Okay, so the game's happening right now, so we'll get to see that game. There's not a lot of baseball games today, so we'll get to see the Angels and the White Sox out here in California. So Jasper, I know you're a big White Sox fan and you love your Sox. So like, I mean, Ernie, you need to get a bet going with him. I'm just playing. Something, but it's all fun and games, man. Baseball's all around, which is really fun. Let's go down to the next segment, dude, and we have a did you know segment. I think I didn't miss anything. We already went through the trades. We went through the 25 runs, the saving out home plate. We went through the London series. We talked about the Reds, the Bach, the Rod, Manfred, and let's go into the did you know. And Ernie, you sent me this earlier, man. Go, have at it.
All right. So I'm not sure if you guys knew, but after last start Clayton Kershaw had, he finally goes on as number one in Dodger history since 1900 with the most scoreless starts of 7 inning plus. And he finally passed Don Sutton, and he's over Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax. What an amazing career Clayton Kershaw's up to, man. I don't think I definitely consider him the best Dodger pitcher we've ever seen in history. Maybe I'm biased because I didn't get to see the other guys pitch, but man, sick curveball, fastball. He lost his fastball speed, but he still finds location. It's impressive what he's doing at his age. And, he's not really caring about the money no more. He just wants to stay in LA and win another World Series. And, people used to bash on him after his terrible playoff starts, but would have changed the direction he's had, and he's held his own, man. Do you consider him
Yeah.
the greatest Dodger ever pitcher? I mean, greatest Dodger pitcher?
So I agree with you. I don't know if it was because we didn't see the rest of the pitchers pitch in their time. We only get to see stats. We only get to see what in black and white and stuff like that. Like Don Drysdale was back in the days, and I don't even know if they had color or even TV back then. You just had to hear it on the radio. It's the same with Sandy Koufax. Don Sutton was a little bit more, TV ish. So you
Mhm.
get to see, but not all of them. And then now Kershaw, you get to see him every day. You get to see social media. You get to see strikeouts on social media. You get to see YouTube. You get to see, if you have like the news at the end of the day, you get to see that stuff. So it's amazing what he's doing with not so much velocity, but he does have that curveball that he
That's
throws,
12-6.
and he's been throwing it forever, and he's great at it, dude. So I feel like, yeah, he is one of the top Dodger pitchers, and maybe once he retires, we'll be like, dang, he was amazing, and I got to see him, which is another thing. With like, wow, in our time we got to see Kershaw. We when we get old, probably like 70 years old, like, remember Kershaw? He used to throw all that good.
You
So
know, and
we'll be talking about them.
And then you gotta look back, Carlos. Like Kershaw was part of these playoff World Series where he got hit with the sign stealing team. Got the Astros, the Red Sox were also part of those sign stealing. You
Yeah.
know, you can't bash on any Dodger pitcher during that World Series. Now, looking forward, you got to move on. But you got to understand that those stats are not an example of who he was in the playoffs. He got cheated on, and what can the guy do? They knew
Yeah.
what pitch was coming, and there's not much he could have done at that moment.
Yeah. And if there's any Astro fans on here, if you think that was more of like everybody was doing it. Well, guess what? If everybody was doing it and they didn't get caught, you just didn't know how to cheat. So it sucks for you, man. Anyway, let's move on, man. Let's move on to the next
Damn,
segment. And
they were
right,
cheating. Huh?
yeah, they were cheating, dude. Like, I mean, it is what it is. And this stat, Chewy sent it to me, which was really amazing. I was just like, what the hell? And if you see the stats right here, Manny Machado and Bryce Harper, both of them are 30 years old. They're both 6'3". They're both drafted in 2010. And one was drafted number one, of course, and we know who he is. And if I have to say it, then you're not a real baseball fan. Anyway, and then you have
Nah,
career debut in 2012. Both of them at 19. They had right now they have 291 home runs for Machado, and you have 288 for Bryce Harper. They're about the same in batting average, and then you go down to postseason. Both of them are around the same thing. Like, look at that. That's crazy to me. Let me take off this thing right here because I think it's blocking it. So, there we go. And then, dude, I have a question for you because I feel that this is a question that like I need answered. Who would you want on your team? Both of them are the same. You just have to give me a different explanation. Why is it that you want this person on your team? And you have to pick out of Manny Machado and Bryce Harper.
man, they both came from the same draft. If I'm not mistaken, the 2010 draft, right, Carlos? Uh,
Yeah,
Manny Machado was a number 3 pick, and Bryce Harper was a number 1 pick. Carlos, I have to go with Bryce Harper, man. When this guy was coming out of college, when he was out of high school, this guy was in every magazine as a top next big thing in baseball. Bryce
yeah,
Harper, his career hasn't turned out to be the greatest out there, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer and he has the stats for it. And I just think he makes a huge impact in most teams he goes to.
wow,
Bryce Harper is one of those type of lefty outfielders that could just put the game put the good hit out there and get you the win. So I don't know, man.
yeah.
Manny Machado, as much as this guy is a great player as well, he's a great defensive third baseman. He just goes on little hot streaks for me that I just can't. So I would have to, but both great players and both potential Hall of Famers, Carlos.
Okay. I'm gonna have to disagree on you with this one, but before I continue, let me go ahead and answer Jasper right here. I was a catcher with a linebacker attitude. Oh my god, dude, I love like that saying, dude, because if you're a catcher, you need to be ready to take it. Just like a linebacker, you need to be ready to take it. You need to be ready to go after it and take the hit or make the hit. There's a famous line from Major League in this the baseball movie. If the train is coming, move out the way. Like so, or be ready to take it. So I love that, Jasper. I didn't know you were a catcher, man. That's amazing, dude. Back to the question of Machado and Bryce Harper. I feel I'm gonna go with Machado because he was a shortstop. I played shortstop, and to have that shortstop mentality and be the captain inside that field, it's a huge responsibility. A lot of people think that, oh, there's not a captain in there. There's, the pitchers in command, the catchers in command, but no, the infielders when everybody has some doubt or stuff like that, they look to the shortstop, and that shortstop needs to carry that team. He has to have leadership. I know he's playing third base now because they had Tatis at short, right, in the Padres. Now they have I forget his name. Dang, with the Padres. And, dang, I blanked out. Anyway, he's at third base now, but he does have the mentality. I know both of them have their hard attitude. Both of them have been seen that they're not those guys that are gonna be likable because
Right.
Bryce Harper didn't have that likable stat with the Nationals, even though a lot of people say, oh, he's a nice guy or whatever. And in Machado, the same thing. He's always coming out in the news talking crap or whatever, showing Johnny Baseball, like I'm not gonna, or Johnny Hustle or whatever it was, that he doesn't want to hustle to first base and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just have to pick Machado only because of that. He is a leader. Kind of like if I do talk about another shortstop that I don't like his attitude, but he's great. Carlos Correa, like
Yeah.
he's really great at it, right? But see, that's the thing with a shortstop. I am always gonna go with them, and Manny Machado's a guy, man. And I feel like both of them has gone to the World Series as well, which was one of
True.
the things that Chewy had to correct me on because he was like, "Hey, I picked Machado." And he was like, "No, but Bryce Harper went to the World Series last year." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're right. I
He
forgot.
did.
He did. So Machado has been to the World Series. Bryce Harper has been to the World Series. They haven't won a ring yet. They will get there. And once they win the World Series, I think it's just going to solidify their career because they are great. Both of them are great players. Who wouldn't want to have them in their team?
Right,
And
Carlos. You look at these stats and they're so similar to one another. It's amazing how they've been so consistent with one another. Seems like they're copying like what he does, I do. It's very similar. And same amount of all stars, the same amount of hits, kind of in the postseason, same career hits. Who wouldn't want these players, Carlos? If you had one of them in your team, I think would be like, man, we're set for the
yeah,
next 10, 12 years.
yeah. That's why the Dodgers went after him on what was it, 2018,
Right.
with the Orioles. They went after him and they got him because Corey Seager was down, and they went and get him for shortstop, and he did a pretty good job. He has a cannon from shortstop. And then when they went to the Padres and they told him you need to go play third base, he agreed. And he's a really good third baseman now. Up there with Arenado. He's up there with the rest of the other top third basemen. So, like, he can field the ball and he
Hey,
can
but
hit the ball.
can he take the Padres to the World Series this year, though? That's my question. They are struggling, and they couldn't
Man,
even beat the Nationals. And did you see what Sander Bogart said at the end of this weekend? He's like, "We can't even beat the Nationals."
Bogarts, that's the guy that.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go
I
for
thought
it.
that's who you were talking about. I didn't want to get it wrong. I was like, he's talking about Sander, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it is
man,
Bogarts.
totally. The team is struggling, Carlos. So, man, I don't know, but Bryce Harper lately has been a leader, Carlos. He's made
Yeah,
this Phillies into a team that, hey, he left the Nationals kind of in bad terms, and he missed out on that World Series trophy out there. But you see him now with Philadelphia, and he's making an impact on these young players. And he came as soon as possible after this injury just to make an effort to be here for the team.
yeah, yeah. I just feel like I, I don't know. The time has a lot to do with what's going on this year. I was talking about when you were dealing with your internet issues. I
Connectivity
was talking
issues.
to, yeah, I was saying that the game has changed so much to where maybe the game is getting younger, and it was one of those things where I said that how they say slow the game down. How can you slow the game down if there's time? How can you do all those things? And that's what Ellie de la Cruz is one of those things that he's playing baseball his way right now. He's fast paced, moving. He's thinking
Speed.
fast. So Machado's one of those guys that likes to take his time up there. He likes to look at things, look at the field, and then step in the box. You can't do that anymore. You have to
No,
hurry up. You have to do it in fast pace. Now you're looking at these type of players that have been there and they're not adjusting. You have the pitchers. We saw it with Manoa, right? Manoa went down. They
yeah.
threw him down to minor league. Hopefully, he can fix that and then come back to the big leagues. You have pitchers out there that are not doing great because of this fast pace. So the stamina for these pitchers or the stamina for all these players, they need to become they have to have a better stamina coming the second half of baseball. This is going to be the first time we're going to see that, and we're going to see teams collapse. The Padres.
Definitely.
I said it last show. The Padres haven't played to their full potential. Are they not doing something, or are they doing something that we're kind of like, they suck, but then are they gearing up for that second half of baseball? And
I
that's
think
where I feel that's what they're
Oh man,
doing.
I could see that happening, Carlos. But I think there's some issues within the clubhouse that we don't know about, and
You think so?
I'm pretty confident it's gonna all happen towards the end. This breakup's gonna happen faster than we know it. There's no
Wow.
way they could be struggling right now. We're almost 4 days away from being in July, Carlos, and the team
Yeah.
is not performing. Being 6 games under 500 is not the answer. That's not the answer the owner wanted after he signed all these major deals with these players. But you're
Yeah.
right. Baseball has been amazing this year, Carlos. And if for all fans in general, we're all having a great time. There's been a lot of surprising teams this year. And with these changes to the rules, we are seeing more teams competing like the Reds, Pirates, Orioles, and you're selling more seats. So the game is growing.
Yeah.
MLB has said that the attendance is up by 8% this year. So it's great for the game of baseball. And us as fans, it's great that we see a new team, always competing now. Instead of
Yeah.
the same teams always in the mix, we're seeing a different type of. It's starting to become like football now, where the NFL, it's like every season you see a new 2-3 teams coming up, and they're like, man, we didn't see this coming at all, and this is what's happening in the MLB now. So it's great
Yeah.
for baseball.
Yeah, because you have the Orioles as well. The Orioles are one of those young
Exactly.
teams that are playing good baseball because of this. That's happening now. The time is getting time, so they're moving faster. So,
The Marlins. What
hope
about the Marlins,
the
Carlos?
Marlins are another team. Like we don't even mention the Marlins, and we were talking about Arias. I don't know if I said it
Luis
right.
Arraez. Yeah, dude,
Luis
he's balling
Arias.
out.
Yeah,
And they got a 20-year-old
he's
pitcher, Uris Perez. I think I'm saying his name wrong, but dude, these guys have great talent out there. And I think Josh Chisholm just came back today, or he's coming back tomorrow. Dude, the talent out there in the MLB right now, it's insane. And it seems like you're right. The younger the team, the better.
Yeah, and you just said something that's gonna make sense to what I say now. You know how NFL, you started talking about NFL, and you have different teams doing what they do, right? But when you have that going on, and the sport of football, when you get to the age 30, you're already old. You're old in football. The same thing with baseball. Are we gonna get to that point where 30-year-old, 31 or 32 are already old in the game? Because right now they're going all the way to 36, 37, and that's it.
Right.
They're quitting. And then you, of course, you have your rare occasions where you see, you're
Close to
40,
40.
41, 42, but this is something where we haven't seen the second half of baseball. And with this, it's one of those things where we're seeing young players and all these talent happening because of this time. So only time will tell. We're excited to get to the half of baseball and get further into it. But mark my words, I feel like the Padres are playing with us, man. I feel like they're gonna come, and if they don't, that's good because I'm a Dodger fan. But as a baseball fan, you're looking at the Padres and you're like, "There's no way, dude. You have too much talent. There's too much talent there." I just feel like they're not gonna just go down without a fight. And if
Oh,
they do
definitely.
go down in a fight, then I was completely wrong. And you're right. They might have a problem in that clubhouse. And Jasper agrees with me. Machado too. He'll go for Machado. I'm not the only one.
That's the second. Hey, anybody agrees with me? Make sure to
It's just,
comment.
yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. We reached that point in time where we got to go ahead and say goodbye. But before we do that, I want to give you your last mentions, man. Go ahead.
Oh man, well, thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure to hit that like button. We really appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we try to bring the best content for you guys out there, and we want to grow this channel, Real Talk Baseball, and we have a great time doing this for you guys. So, hope you
Yeah,
guys enjoy the content today. I know the connectivity issues could be a mess sometimes here, but we are live, and that's one of the problems with going live. And
yeah,
sometimes I tell Carlos, why can't we just edit the shows like other podcasts? But he enjoys the live stuff, and so do we. I think us fans like to be part of the show, so it's awesome
yeah.
to be here.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I always like try to make it to where it's more of a thing where we're just talking like buddies and stuff like that. It's always amazing. We do have our shows on Fridays where there's Chavi and we have Will. We have a new guy on the team, which is Kevin, and he's a really knowledgeable fantasy baseball expert, just like Will and Chavi is. Not saying that we're not, but they pay more attention to little detail like the umpires do, like they look a little flinch and stuff like that. So if you want to tune in and need more advice on your team for fantasy baseball, watch that show on Friday. It's still Real Talk Baseball. Even if you have questions on whatever the topic is, go ahead and send them. Don't be shy. Even here, if there's something we can go ahead and fix for our show or their show, send it here or send it on our Instagram. We have a TikTok. We do have another Facebook, and I forgot one, Twitter. I know our Twitter account's a little low, but we're trying to work it up. It's kind of difficult to do, but we are on there. And if you do have a time to chat with us, go ahead and send it. But other than that, I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Ernie Orange, Real Talk Baseball, signing out.